I'm Dr. Kimberly Manning.
And this is Dr. Ashley McMullen. And you're listening to the Human Doctor Podcast, where we explore the human side of medicine, along with teaching, living, learning, and all things in between. Using the power of storytelling, conversation, and connectedness.
Hey, we're two dope academic internal medicine doctors, but we ain't your doctors. So if you perceive anything we say here as medical advice, no, it ain't that. Also, the things we say, they only reflect our brilliant Black woman magic mind and not our employers.
You could have been anywhere, y'all, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate you. Let's go. All right. Good morning. Good morning.
It's afternoon here.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Afternoon. I already saw a bunch of admissions already and just keeping it moving.
That's right. I commend you living that inpatient ward's life. It's not for the faint of heart.
Nope. This is day 14 of 14. And yes, I do have to work tomorrow. And the day after that, I am actually going to be going to the University of Washington.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as a visiting lecturer. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, the West Coast looks forward to having you back. How are you doing today? What's your scale? What's your adjective?
I am a busy 4.8.
Okay. Still
Not too
high.
bad.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm on a hospital service, I work every single day. So 14 days of working in a row, including 2 weekends, is a lot.
That is a lot.
But I do tell myself I'm not a resident physician. So, like, as much as I would like people to feel sorry for me, I do not work like a resident. And I remember what it was like to work like a resident. So, if I had worked like a resident for 14 days, that would be different.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, as the attending, I come in a little bit on the later end. I say what I got to say and finish seeing who I got to see. And I'm on my own schedule. So, that's fine. It's all good, man.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
I would say a fatigued/tired 4.6. I've already lamented to you about this, but I've been struggling with insomnia on and off, and some mornings are, a little on the rougher end for me. This is one of those.
That is rough. And it's crazy that it seems to always happen when you got stuff to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Trying to will yourself asleep, go to sleep.
I know. It's a struggle. So to all my fellow insomniacs, I'm here with you.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
So, anything new? What do you have to share? What's on?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but I literally was only a couple days ago where I realized that Spotify Premium has audiobooks that you could access within your subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had Spotify Premium for years and I did not know this.
Okay.
So it's like opening a whole new world for me.
So you're about to join the audio world with me.
I mean, it's still going to be a hybrid world for me. I definitely prefer the written word, if you will, but it's really nice for the longer books, especially on, I have a longer commute a couple days a week. And so I've decided that now is the time to tackle The Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela.
Oh, gosh. Good luck. That thing has got to be it's over 30 hours, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, let me say this, God rest your soul, President Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
But I listened to that book before I went to South Africa. And I don't mind a long book if the long book is like long for a reason. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Mandela. This is wrong. So if I get struck by lightning in my office,
we'll know why.
What I'm saying, it is the level of detail that this man is talking in this book. I think an editor probably could have come in and probably got this down several pages. But it would be what if I was going to tell you a story about how I walked from my office across the street to Grady? Okay, I could tell that story. But he would be like, well, I unlocked my door to come out of my office and it was a little bit sticking. So I went and I looked in the cabinet and I got some WD-40 and I sprayed it. Then it opened smooth. So I tested it back and forth first to see. Then when I walked down the hall, I stubbed my toe and I looked down and I realized that there was some rubber on the front of my, like it is like, and it's detail about minutia. So
Hmm.
I was like, dude, come on.
I know, I know. I don't disagree with that. In fact, that was actually I would say, a very accurate description of the
It's just
narrative
like,
voice that I'm working with.
bruh,
Yeah.
we're not even been out of the office. It took me 50 pages to get out the office.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a commitment, but I'm in it now, and I think that reading it now, kind of within the context of, some of the storms brewing around policies and right-wing politics taking hold globally, it adds another layer of interest for me, just in terms of how does one kind of maintain both hope and vigilance.
Yeah. How do you deal with people who don't care about you?
Hmm.
I don't know. I like sometimes I find like this sort of malignant indifference. There's indifference where you're kind of clueless, and then there's a malignant indifference.
Hmm.
We try not to be political here, but we're doctors. So as I think about like USAID, right?
Hmm.
Fundamentally, either you believe that the well-being and health of people in other parts of the world is somehow connected to you because we're underneath the same stars, right? Either you fundamentally kind of think that, or you kind of just don't care. You're just like, what do that got to do with me?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's real.
I
That's a
really
good
don't
term.
care. But you know what? I just, I just have to believe that, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
I just have to believe that. People like us need to like stay hopeful and have some aspiration that we can do better.
Yep. Agree.
Ah,
Yeah. What
that's
about
it.
you? What do you got going on other than being on the wards for 14 days in a row?
I have lately, more than ever, just sort of an appreciation for this exact spot of my life that I'm in right now. I've talked about this before, but I have my son who's in college and dealing with things that people deal with in college. And then I have my son who is a senior in high school and dealing with the things he deals with. But the new layer is that my husband, like we laugh and say we're not nervous about becoming empty nesters, but we really truly our life has revolved around our kids. We're good to each other, but we build our schedule and our priorities around what they need. And Harry kind of said as a joke, a few days ago, like, when these kids are gone, you're not going to even have a reason to come home from work. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
stay at Grady and keep rounding and going to committee meetings and everything. You're going to get home at 9:30, 9:45 every night. And he kind of said it in jest, but I could tell that that's probably like a real fear. And I was
Yeah.
like, let's just make up our minds that we're not going to do that.
Mm.
Let's try to, keep some sort of order and promise to come home to each other. Because I could really see how, when I think about myself and how busy I get, I could see myself committing to do something after work every single day. So,
Mm.
yeah, I've been thinking a lot about keeping the main thing. And my husband is the main thing. Yeah, he's the main thing.
Shout out to Mr. Manning.
Shout out to the BHE, best husband ever. Yeah.
Well, sis, I know we got a lot going on in the world right now, but thankfully we have this oasis of reprieve and joy because we are about to be blessed with a story from one of the best storytellers of a generation that is the indisputable storytelling champion of the world.
Oh,
Amazing Dr. Kimberly Manning, MD, MACP.
appreciate you.
Mhm.
FAAP too.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
that is.
put some respect on my
Thank you.
med peds name.
Yes, yes, yes. Let us know what's the what.
Okay, kings, queens, and non-binary royalty. The what is help.
Help.
Yeah, help. Help. Speaking of help, can you help me get a t-shirt that says kings, queens, and non-binary royalty before SGIM?
Ooh, I cannot, but I bet you somebody listening to this
Yeah,
podcast can.
I want that. I think that's
Yeah.
something I want to have when we record. Anyway, I digress.
Okay.
So, as you know, I am on the hospital service currently, which squarely puts me in Grady Hospital from morning into evening. And I'm gonna take you back about 10 days. This wasn't even that long ago.
Mm.
I had finished rounding in the morning. I had a little short, like 10-minute window before going to the resident conference, and I had not planned ahead and I didn't pack my lunch. So up the street, we have the curb market,
Mhm.
and it's a bunch of vendors in there. And I went down there and got me some lunch. And I've been working there so long, I know everybody down there. So got me some soul food and was making good time, leisurely strolling back up the street. And on this particular day, it was actually cold here in Georgia. It was cold, probably about between 35 and 40 degrees.
Ooh, that is cold.
It was cold.
Hmm.
Cold enough where I actually didn't just wear my white coat only. I had a coat on,
Hmm.
but it was also raining. And you know how it is. Like you can do cold, you can do rain, but rain and cold ain't fun. So I am like power walking down the street to go to resident conference. And just as I was like kind of getting to the corner of the street right by the hospital, and where we do our conferences in this building called Steiner, right when I kind of got over there, I see this young man. He has a car that has its hazards blinking, and he is doing everything in his capability to get this Grady Elder out of the car.
Hmm.
It is not going well. It is raining, not pouring rain, but it was raining. It was
Hmm.
cold. And the elder clearly was weak, like had no proximal muscle strength. So the idea of like helping by getting up or pushing down, none of that was working.
Mm.
And this Grady elder was somebody with a little size on him. It wasn't somebody that was like really tiny that you could just lift up. So I'm kind of watching this. I am about 5 minutes before conference is starting. I am hungry. And my plan was to wolf my food down, then go to conference so that I'm not eating in the conference.
Hmm.
But I said, all right, this don't look good. So I say, hey, nephew. And he looks and I say, you need some help. He said, oh my gosh, please, yes. I said, okay. So I take my food bag, I set it down on the curb. And I go over to the car door and I said, so together we like trying to, you push down here, I'm a corner behind this, that, and whatever. But this Grady Elder is so weak, even that is not working. None of
Mm.
that is working. So there was a rollator walker. We sit the rollator up on the curb. I'm sort of in front of the Grady Elder. He's kind of behind the Grady Elder, but we really needed somebody to lift their leg up onto the curb
Mm.
so that we can kind of lift and get them up onto the curb. It was a mess. So we really needed a third person. And just then I see the residency program director, Rena Himmerjani, going to conference.
Hmm.
I was like, Dr. Himmerjani, can you please help? Dr. Himmerjani is cool as a fan. So she's like, oh yeah, sure. So she comes over there and I'm like, okay, I need you to lift this leg, and then we gonna do this. So the three of us, with all of our might, finally get this Grady Elder up out of this car onto the curb where they like put both hands on the rollator walker, which we have with brakes on the wheel,
Hmm.
and they just slump over and they're just kind of standing there, kind of wobbly and shaking in place
In the rain and cold.
in the rain, in the cold. But they got up there, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, we one step closer to going into Grady Hospital. So I said, okay, we good. All right. Wave goodbye to Dr. Himmerjani. She's like, I'm going to conference. I'm like, cool, don't worry about it. The young man is like, oh man, I appreciate you, doc. I appreciate you. I said, oh, nephew, it's okay. It's okay. It's all good. That's what we do. That's what we do. So he then looks at me and says, okay, well, you good from here? I said, like, I guess I was like, does he mean my food? I was like, oh, no, I'm gonna take it in there and go eat. He's like, oh, okay, well, definitely, I'm so glad I was able to catch you when I did and everything. And it looks like he's walking back to his car. I was like, hold up, excuse me. Hold up. And just then it all crystallizes that nothing about the interaction between this man and this Grady elder looked super familiar. It almost looked like somebody helping a stranger. And the reason it looked that way is because the next thing that crystallized in my eyeball was a lit up sign in the window of his car that said
Uber.
Uber. He looked at me, he said, I'm Uber. I said, what? He said, I'm Uber. Meaning this dude was 20 minutes ago years old when he met this Grady elder.
Hmm.
He said, no, I mean, I can't, I gotta work. I can't stay here. I don't work here. I said, look, man, I'm just walking down the street. I'm just out here trying to eat my soul food lunch that I got and go over here to this conference. I said, look, sir, when the people put the patient in the car, what was you? They said to me. I mean, he was getting indignant, eyes all wide, wet, tearful. He's like, they said to me, they got people down here, Grady. They got people down here to help you when you get to just pull up and people come help you. So that's who I thought you was. I was like, no, I was walking down the street and I just saw that you needed some help. He was like, "What? They told me I need to bring this person to this place and there will be somebody there." So pulls up the little screen and the screen has the address on it. Problem is the address to the hospital is 80. Okay. This was 50 something, the number that he had on
Oh,
his form.
oh
So
Lord.
I look at him and I said, "Oh no, 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 Grady, this is not telling you to take the person to Grady." I turned around and all the way back down the street, I said, "Oh no, I think this is where you're supposed to be going." And he looked like he was gonna cry. He was like, "This where it said drop off right here. It said drop off right here. Then I saw you and you was," I was like,
Oh
"Well,
God.
if I didn't help you, what was you gonna do?" So we just going back and forth. So I said, you might have to take this person back where you picked them up. He said no, because it was like a family member, and the family member had a uniform on. It was going to work.
Mm,
So it ain't gonna be nobody there. And this was easily 20 or 25 minutes away. So we just going back and forth in the rain. Po Grady Elder leaning over this wobbly rollator walker, getting pelted with rain too. Got a little hat on, but it ain't enough. I'm just like, if I was not living through this, I would not believe it was happening. So finally, I just look at the little, nephew, the little Uber nephew, and tell Uber nephew, I said, just go on, baby.
mm,
I'm gonna figure it out. So now I'm gonna bring you into me standing on the corner across the street from the hospital, but a football field away from really where this Grady Elder needed to go.
mm.
I should mention that I had gotten my hair done the day before, and it was
Oh.
cute. It was cute. I had a hood over my head, but it really, it was cold and it was raining. And my soul food was in a bag on the ground getting
Mm,
pelted with rain.
mm.
And I'm just standing there like, what is I'm gonna do? And I literally look at the Grady Elder and say, what is I'm gonna do? What is we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
And the Grady Elder said, I don't know, baby. I said, oh Jesus. So I look and around the hospital, it's normally like cops and stuff around the
Mm,
hospitals. So I see the Fulton County Sheriff's like a truck coming by. I gotta hold on to the elder because the elder ain't steady. I'm
mm,
waving my hand, jumping down, going, yo, yo. So the Fulton County Sheriff pulls up and the dude in the passenger side rolled the window down and he looked over at me and he gave me like a sly cat daddy nod, like, what's up?
mm.
I was
Down. Oh, you
like,
went?
I said, yo, that ain't what this is. That ain't with that what you doing, that ain't what this is. I need some help. It's like, what's going on? So the window down, I'm talking through the window. It's raining. I'm trying to stop the elder from face planting on the sidewalk. I'm like, look, okay, this is what happened. This I was helping them, da 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 da, and then the Uber nephew and this and that. What? Uber? Yes, Uber. Why Uber? Who put her in Uber? I don't know who put them in Uber. Somebody put them in Uber. I don't know why they got put in Uber. But the person is here. So wait a minute. You ain't related to this person? No,
No.
we met 10 minutes ago. So how did you end up standing here? Listen, I need you to stop interrogating me and I need you to pull over and I need you to help me. Help you do what? Help me get this elder inside where they need to be. Where are you trying to get to emergency? No, I turn around and I point all the way back. I was like, y'all got to pull over. Y'all got to help me. Y'all sheriffs, help me. So they pull over. They pull over and they're like still asking me questions. I was like, I do not know this person. Did you try to find out who they are? Blah, blah,
God.
blah. So I said, do you have a family member that we could call or something like that? The sweet Grady elder reaches into a bag and pulls out a flip phone, circa for real 2001.
Mm.
It pops open. I said, do you have number saved? I just have it in case somebody called me. I said, oh my gosh. So we just all look at each other. And now the sheriff's mad at me because I done pulled them into it.
Mhm.
And finally, I was just like, look, y'all, we got an elder here who needs our help. And I was able to find in the bag that there was an appointment. And I asked them to stay right there. I ran across the street to try to get a wheelchair, which, of course, Murphy's Law, there was no wheelchairs available. So we run back. We figure out how to sit the elder down on the rollator. I'm holding the legs up because, rollators ain't made for you to just be rolling nobody
Mhm.
far. The
Mhm.
legs would drag. So I'm holding the legs up while the two Fulton County sheriffs are pushing the elder. And we shuffle scoot all the way like a football field down to get to this place in the rain,
Oh
in the
my
cold.
God. Oh my God.
And because Grady Hospital is awesome, when I get in there, I was like, I need a social worker right now, and I need to arrange transportation for this elder to get back home and something that does not involve an Uber. And I need you to find family. And they were all over it and did all that. All of this whole thing, I missed the entire resident conference. My hair got a little bit messed up, but you know what was good? When I got across the street, my soul food was still sitting on the curb
My God.
in a bag. Nope. And I opened it up. My collard greens, my black eyed peas, my cabbage, and my chicken were all unscathed. And it was funny, that happened, but it kind of wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Um, um, and at first I wanted to be like, who in the world would do something like this? Who would put their loved one in a
Mm.
doggone Uber and just send them off into the abyss in weather like this with no clear plan of what to do
Mm.
next? But then I said, who would do this? Maybe somebody who has to go to work.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody who is hoping and praying that the universe that is Grady will include somebody who's going to help. And the truth is, the kind of people that work at Grady and that are around Grady are the kind of people that will be on the alley oop. Just like
Mhm.
the social worker who came up out of the back of whatever she was doing to come and suddenly help me with this patient.
Wow.
Um, but it was just one of these moments where I was like, as awful as the world is right now, and as comedic as all of that was for me when it was happening, I was like, I am so glad that working at Grady Hospital all these years have built in me this muscle that makes me not throw hot potatoes away from myself. I
Hmm.
think we want the ball here.
Yeah.
Like, you give me a hot potato, I'm gonna hold on to it long enough to try to figure something out, even if it's kind of a pain, because
Yeah.
that was a pain. And I was like, damn. But I'm even kind of moved that of all the things that the young man was trying to do to get the elder out of the car. It wasn't mean, it was very tender, but we got to see about our elders, but
Yep.
y'all, we got to see about each other too. You see somebody who needs some help, 9 times out of 10, it's an added story to it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Man. I mean,
where do you begin?
I know, right? God. The first thing that came to mind, which, sorry to be redundant, y'all. I've shouted this book out like 20 times, but Elderhood by Louise Aronson.
Yes.
I remember specifically a story within that book that she talked about because Louise Aronson is a geriatrician
An awesome
and an
geriatrician.
incredible geriatrician and an advocate. And I remember in that book, she talked about, being with a patient outside of her clinic at Mount Zion, which is in a busy section of San Francisco. And, this elder person was waiting in for a ride share, and the ride share pulled up, looked at the person, and then immediately sped off. Just and again, on the surface, kind of amusing and, baffling, but also just really it's a symptom of how we think about elder care and how we don't make space for people with differently abled bodies. Who takes the time to really ensure that folks who really are living on a hope and a prayer have the means to get to where they need to go. I mean, thank God that you were there. And I imagine, there's like you said, the ethos at Grady is that, other people would have stopped, but that's a lot of commitment in that
Yeah.
type of weather to, be the one to ensure that this helpless individual gets to where they're trying to go.
Yeah, and we talked about a long time ago the power of being stoppable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I want to, give Grady even more credit for that because I think that, again, when you work in a safety net hospital in a setting, you start to think, if not me, who?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you start to, position your body in a way that says, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll help you.
I forget whether if there's a certain name for either this type of syndrome or bias. It'll come to me as soon as we stop recording, but kind of this thing that human beings do where it's just like, you always assume that somebody else is going to take responsibility for something. And I
Yeah, I
can,
think it's the bystander effect.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, the bystander effect is if you are by yourself and there's nobody else there, there's about they say it's about, I don't know where these studies come from, but it's like an 85% chance that you will act. So kind of like the person who collapses in front of you, you're going to go over there and check their pulse and try to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But that plummets to like 13% when other people are there because you
Oh
assume
well.
like somebody else is going to do it. So it's called the
Mm-hmm.
bystander effect. Obviously, there's kind of like could also just be factors like who you are and what your personality is like, what it takes for you to activate in spaces with other people. So maybe you're shy. We've
Mm-hmm.
talked about people being reserved and introverted. Sometimes they may not, it may take more activation for them to step in and take the lead.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people just have like internal conflict, like they don't know, is this actually a problem? Like maybe this young man has been getting his grandparent out of the car for years and has a system, and
Mm-hmm.
it looks like a struggle, but it ain't no struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all these like different things that come into play that when people unpack the bystander effect. But I think oftentimes, we're all smart enough people to know what it looks like when somebody actually needs some help.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And we've also had somebody ask us could they help us? And we know what it looks like when somebody is really about to help you
Mm-hmm.
and when they just talking.
Yeah. Oh, it's real. Yeah.
So, help people. Don't throw down all the hot potatoes, but also have a little empathy and think about some of the things that we think look bad or that we ethically judge.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a story of necessity and hoping and praying that somebody stoppable is
Yep.
nearby.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
confirmed that that social worker took the alley-oop and got that patient home. They got what they needed for that
Mm-hmm.
appointment.
Mm-hmm.
They got all the things they needed and they got back home.
Amazing.
And there was even a little note entered in the chart that said so.
Amazing.
Yeah, man.
I love that story.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, you got it. You got it,
You
Auntie.
good?
I was like, no, I ain't got it. What are you talking about?
Look, I am just glad that the true hero of the story, the bag of soul food, survived being abandoned on the curb in the rain, and that you still got a good meal afterwards.
Yeah, and you know what? I told that story to my mom
Hmm.
and I said, And then after all of that, I came out of that building, walked through the cold and in the rain, crossed the street where I found my bag of soul food sitting on the curb, and it was still hot. And my mama did not get it. Do you get that reference? And it was still hot.
No.
Oh man, I'm so hurt. Okay, well, in your defense, you are not up at night every night reading children's books to small kids.
Yep.
But in the book Where the Wild Things Are,
Hmm.
at the end of the Where the Wild Things Are, after that whole adventure, the book ends by saying he came home, he returned to his room where his dinner was waiting for him. And then the last line of the book is, and it was still hot.
Aw.
So I was like, and it was still hot. It really wasn't hot though, y'all. It was cold. I had to heat it up. I had to heat it up.
See,
But
that's a
I was trying
miracle.
to make a literary reference for my
Yeah.
mama who raised me on that book and she didn't get it.
I'm sorry.
I was like, Mom, I'm so disappointed.
It's still very poetic, though.
Yes,
We'll pretend
yes.
like it was still hot.
And it was still hot.
Mm.
Well, speaking of things that are still hot, how much better I feel and how excited I always feel to come and meet with you here and tell stories.
Hmm.
So, it's been now what? How many years are we at this? Three, two, three,
Three plus. It's
three
been
plus
coming
years.
up on 4 years,
And it was still hot.
and it's still hot. I love it. Well, thank you for infusing me with both a little bit of laughter, a lot of joy, a lot of wisdom, and also some renewed energy. I was feeling pretty low when I first started this conversation.
Well, I got about 3 pages from my team that wants me to come over there. I guess I'm gonna teach somebody, seeing as I'm a clinician educator.
Yeah, that seems like something you could do. Yeah.
All right, sis.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too. That wraps up this week's episode of the Human Doctor Podcast.
Special thanks to our favorite brother gastroenterologist, Dr. Chuma Obiname, for the beats. Shout out to the Dr. Ashley McMullen for editing and production.
Mad love to our podcast family at The Nocturnist and the Clinical Problem Solvers, our Med Twitter fam.
And especially shout out to all of you, our listeners.
Until next week, remember,
we see you and you are enough. Holla!